Hi and welcome back to Classic MGB. Now today we're somewhere rather special. We're at an Aladdin's Cave of MGs. It's a company called Former Glory based just outside Oxford in the UK, and it's run by a guy called Nigel Guild. Let's go meet him. So Nigel, what a place you've got here. Tell me a bit about it.
Thanks, Graham. Well, I started my first showroom in 1989 on the A40 in Acton, and started as a hobby, like a lot of these things, and it just increased overnight, the stock, and buying and selling, and now I just try and keep the best cars I can, and I'm always on the lookout for interesting vehicles.
So roughly how many cars have you got in stock at any one time?
It's been between 30 and 40, always have about 15 MGBs, but I like to have all the models, so R-V8, factory V8, Roadsters, Cs, As, twin cam As. So when someone comes down, they don't have to buy anything, they can just come and have a look.
That's fantastic, that's absolutely fantastic. That's quite a commitment though in terms of stock, isn't it?
It is a bit, sometimes you can almost sort of maybe think it's a museum, but it shouldn't be that way. But when it's a hobby, I enjoy looking at them.
Absolutely. So if you were talking to somebody who was thinking about buying an MGB specifically, because that's what the channel's about, what would be your recommendation?
I'd really do your research, look online at all the pictures of different people who've got different cars, and go and see as many as you can. There's a famous saying, don't buy the first one you see, but quite often the first one you see is the one. So don't rule that out. I'll say that first of all, and always take someone with you who perhaps knows a bit more about mechanicals and structure.
Sure. So how do you source these cars? Because you know they're getting rarer and rarer, and they're beautifully prepared. These, I have to say.
Well, you'd be surprised how many are still out there. Most popular sports car ever built, of course, and they just keep coming. I keep thinking there's none left, and another new one emerges. So, but quite often I'm buying back cars I've sold over the past 20, 25 years. So can be up to 6, 7 times over. So it's a very good recycling process. One
of the common comments on the channel is people saying, oh, I sold it 3 years ago and I regret it. So many people regret selling these MGBs. You know, do you have a lot of people coming back?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. They come back 10 years later, and sometimes they come back, family's gone, children have left home, and they come back into it again and join the owners club, the car club, and back to the shows.
Okay, and if you had to pick a favourite?
It's a good question. You can go MG, A, B or C, and they've all got their speciality. The A is more classic. The C I like with a smooth engine, long-legged. The factory V8's probably the best driving MGB ever built, best MG ever built actually, because you can cruise on the motorway at normal speeds perfectly well. And the twin cam MGO, of course, is another nice example, but sticking with MGBs, probably an MGB with a slightly uprated engine, bigger wheels, 15-inch MGC wheels on it, and a few nice upgrades, and does the job perfectly.
So you're not a complete purist, these people that say these MGBs have to stay absolutely standard?
No. I mean, I've got a 36,000 mile one out there, and when you drive an original, they actually do drive, you realise how good they were, or they are, and they're amazing, and they actually drive better than a modified one, in my opinion.
Right.
When you get a factory original, not messed around with on the suspension. And I disagree with lots of these upgrades on suspensions because they don't need it, and it makes them too harsh.
That's interesting. We were talking to the workshop manager at the MG Owners Club, and he was saying the same thing. A properly set up MGB doesn't need anything extra. No,
just the front uprated anti-roll bar on the front, slightly thicker. That's all you need, honestly. Shocks are fine. I mean, I've been up the road someone spent 30,000 on restoring one with all the upgrades and bouncing around everywhere up the road, and they think it's good, but I say if you drove an original, you'd be happier.
Sure. So talking of cars, let's go and have a look at some, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. This is a very interesting MGB V8 Roadster. It was built by Roger Williams, who was the author of the book, How to Give Your V8 More Power. And if we lift the bonnet here, you shall see what he's done. We've got fuel injection. This is the Australian style, so it's flusher, so you can keep the MGB bonnet. We've got RV8 exhaust manifolds, it's pushing out about 210 horsepower, so really you don't need any more, but it's linked to uprated brakes, frontline rear suspension, coilover front suspension. It's really like no other MGB you'll ever drive.
And if I was going to buy it, what could I buy this for today?
You could buy it for around 27,000, which is probably getting on for half of what it would cost you to build today. This is 980 WTX. Started life as a police car in Glamorgan, Wales, photo below. Now has a new lease of life on a heritage body shell, fully rebuilt to original specification with pull door handles as well. And it's won many shows at MG events over the past 10 years. This is a 1971 MGB Roadster in teal blue with only 36,000 miles from new, 2 owners, with the original autumn leaf trim and completely unmodified with Rostyle wheels and still keeping its recessed fish mouth grille. All my stock has to be carefully selected, but I don't just consider show cars because I have something for everybody, and I have different price levels. As long as the car is structurally and mechanically perfect, that'll be fine. This is a Heritage Shell GT V8. The brief for this build of car was from the owner to say, I want a car that can get me to Nürburgring and keep up with Porsche 911s. So he spoke to a specialist, MG specialist company that built them from scratch, and had an uprated engine, 3.9 litre, with a Mazda 5-speed gearbox, special suspension, and believe me, it really does fly along and you can keep up with most cars on the road. The mechanical side of this car is matched equally by the beautiful interior. So let's go and have a look. So here we are inside this amazing MGB-GT. We've got Mulberry Connolly leather. We've got the walnut dashboard. Centre console trimmed in leather as well. The headlining's been amazingly sorted in, covered in Alcantara suede. And frontline rear decking as well above the spare wheel compartment. So it really, everything leather, chrome ashtray, Mazda 5-speed box as well. So it's a very special MGB.
So there we go, probably the largest stock of MGBs in the country. Nigel, it just leaves me to say thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you so much.
Really enjoyed ourselves.
Thank you.
As usual, if people could like the video, that'd be great. Subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. As always, thanks for watching and take care.